So welcome everybody to today's webinar. For those who've attended previously, welcome back. It's really good to see you all. And for those who were new to attending, welcome for the first time. And we hope you find this session informative, interactive, and also fun as well. Today's topic is going to be a topic which has been a broad topic of discussion in a wide range of sectors recently, and that is artificial intelligence and how it can actually improve business operations. Now, on the call with me today, I have our AI whiz kid Wesley on the call. Wesley is our head of development here at Xero. He's definitely a professional in the artificial intelligence space, so I thought it'd be really good to bring him into the call today to give you kind of some background insight into artificial intelligence and how it can actually improve business operations. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Wesley. Over to you, Wes.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining, everyone. Obviously, AI is quite a hot topic, and I was asked as the AI whiz to just come in and talk about some of these things, some of these interesting ways that ChatGPT and large language models can be incorporated into business. And it's a very broad topic, but there's a lot of things that we're going to discuss about today. So I'm very excited. Yeah, obviously there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of areas of business that can be greatly benefited by incorporating AI. I think one area that I just want to start off with straight away, Jamie, is predictive analytics. I think
Yeah,
this is definitely a topic that AI has existed in this realm for quite a while now, but I guess we can call it like the bread and butter of AI and machine learning, right? This ability to take in large quantities of data and be trained on previous outcomes and guess what the most likely outcome will be based on that. Right around the corner, we have um, programs like Microsoft that are coming up with their Microsoft Copilot, right, which promises to really accelerate the work that we do in our office jobs. We'll mention it a couple times in this webinar today, but the ability to interface with your AI using these large language models, which allow you to really prompt it in a very natural way for us, will really allow us to quickly analyze trends and create professional looking data visualizations in applications like Excel. We'll be able to just ask it, we'll be able to give it a spreadsheet of sales records and just ask it to visualize maybe the most profitable product in a quarter, right? Be able to really integrate with it on that sort of natural speaking term. Right, yeah, so next point, analyzing sales data to identify client behavior. So using this data to determine trends and predict future products, popularity, potentially allowing us to adjust inventory accordingly. Obviously, or set the best possible prices or create even new offers for customers based on trend data as well. Lots of interesting things that can happen here.
fantastic. So, a point on that. So, focusing kind of on our sector and what we do specifically, we have a lot of, for example, Wesley, a lot of security and backup products for our clients for their IT infrastructure. For example, we could prompt a command for ChatGPT to create a new bundle of products based on or a new package, should we say, based on a bundle of specific products, and it can analyze the data of how much in terms of volume is being purchased, for example, on an e-commerce website. So, for example, it can pick up 50% of your customers purchase Microsoft 365, and these 50% also purchase disaster recovery and business continuity solutions alongside the backend of Microsoft 365. AI could recommend us to bundle that package and come up with a completely new product set based on purchases. Is that kind of how it works, or?
Yeah, no, 100%, Jamie. I mean, we will get more into that as well, because I think there's definitely potential for it to understand the context of items that are being purchased and provide more accurate terminology, more accurate sort of sales prompts, or even, bundling it, as you say. I think it's very interesting because there's a lot of work that developers have to do when it comes to developing these e-commerce websites. An analogy that I can use is toilet paper, for instance. So it's pretty fun when we think about it, but a developer would have to go into the database and sort of categorize these items. So for instance, toilet paper, lives in the bathroom, and it's a hygienic item, and these are all tags that have to get associated with the item, and someone needs to go in and do it manually. But if we slot in a bot into our e-commerce website, it's able to automatically understand the context of these items, and based on that, a lot of the things you see in websites these days is that you might also like section of the websites. The previously this was also based on sort of tags that were associated with all the items you were viewing, and if you were viewing a lot of hygienic items, then it would suggest a new one that you might be interested in based on that. But AI is able to understand the context of these items inherently due to the large language model. So it's able to do the work of the developers without having to get the developers involved at all, really.
So somebody like myself, Wes, could really, just go off today onto ChatGPT as an example, and get that to do what we require. That kind of trend analysis. And I'm thinking this could save businesses a massive amount of time, and obviously improve productivity dramatically as well. Just by having that bot analyze a vast majority of kind of trend analysis of what's being purchased. Is it easy for somebody like me to go off and do this though, or would I have to have some form of technical knowledge or know-how to get AI to do this task for me?
Not really, Jamie. I mean, a lot of people can go to ChatGPT now and sort of test out this kind of functionality of AI themselves. If you go into ChatGPT and maybe prompt it with a list of items, for instance, it would very easily be able to tell you or guess what the next relevant item for this person would be. So if you prompt it with, toilet paper and then maybe a toothbrush and a towel or whatever it might be, it would very easily be able to come up with a best guess for a user viewing items like that, what they might be interested in after the fact.
Fantastic, that's brilliant. Well, anybody out there, we'll let you go and have a test that for yourself and come back with the results, guys. So
Yeah, and I mean,
but
oh, sorry, Jamie. I just want to interject as well. I mean, like, we also don't want to neglect ChatGPT's ability to be creative and be pretty inventive. I mean, it's built on a language model which it's designed to always produce an outcome and to always think about ways to connect objects. Don't discredit its ability to invent a new product or its ability to be creative and create words and places and things. I mean, given a large enough data set, it could really help you, give you inspiration for niches that you could potentially fill.
fantastic. To be honest with you, that's absolutely immense. I can see how AI can vastly save businesses a lot of money just from the productivity of that tool itself. A lot of the obviously areas that we're well aware of, which we use artificial intelligence for, is customer service. I mean, me myself, Wes, in my role, I have a chatbot live on the website where customers and active clients can come through. They can get through to service desk, sales, whoever they need to get to. But I think this is the only a basic function of AI in its current state. I'd like to home in on the customer service element because I understand from what I've researched myself, there's a lot that we can do with AI from a customer service perspective.
Definitely, Jamie. I mean, customer service, when we think about interfacing with someone over the internet, I think this is exactly the kind of area where ChatGPT slots directly into. I mean, just by the nature of its conversational nature it makes it perfect for this kind of environment. It's definitely able to act as, that employee that'll work 24/7 and never say no and will always have something to say, which I think is exactly what you want in a customer service agent.
Hey, well, it's something that business leaders are definitely interested in for obvious reasons. Somebody who works 24/7 tirelessly. So
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the natural conversational attributes of these large language models allow them to understand customer queries and provide personalized messages. I mean, right now you can give ChatGPT a prompt, which is like, you are a customer service agent for X company and you're trying to sell Y kind of product, and please respond politely and whatever it might be. And if you give it that prompt, it will try its best to just act as that kind of person. So you'll prompt it on questions and it'll answer appropriately. And we can imagine those kinds of things just slot directly into those chatbots that we see. Obviously, similar chatbots and ChatGPT itself do need to be provided with quite a substantial amount of data to act as the perfect customer service agent, because we can imagine a world where you ask it a question like, how long have you been in this industry? And if it doesn't know that, then it's going to try its best to sort of make up an answer. It'll either have to lie outright, or it'll have to admit that it's an AI and sort of expose itself as not being a human, which is not what you really want.
So with that, I mean, obviously me being in the kind of cybersecurity realm and IT for a number of years now, the first thing I kind of get from that is the problem that can cause from being misinformed by AI or misguided through false information. I can see it could be a big business problem because it could be quite damaging if AI were to give an accurate response or misinformation when somebody's requesting to solve a business problem using something like ChatGPT. How can we avoid using false or inaccurate information given to us by AI as a reliable source? And is there any way that we can truly validate that information?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, obviously with the advent of ChatGPT 4 over 3, I think we're definitely going to see more accurate ways to prompt the bot. ChatGPT 4 inherently gives us the ability to provide more data to the or within the prompt. I think ChatGPT 3 was something like 2,000 characters, and ChatGPT 4 allows you to do up to like 40,000 or something along those lines. So you're able to provide it a lot more um, data for it to work off of. So it just requires someone to actually take the time and really delve deep into what potential questions it could be asked. Make sure that the prompt tells ChatGPT how old the business is, so that if someone does ask that question, it does have an answer, for instance. But yeah, it's definitely up to the prompt master, as they tend to be called these days, to provide relevant information so that the bot has all the information it needs.
Fantastic, brilliant. Another kind of area I wanted to home in on really was the how AI can actually improve marketing. Now, myself and my colleague Henri, and head of marketing here, we use AI to automate social media posts and things like that. But there's another area that I've been quite interested in, and that's kind of how you can translate different languages using AI, such as ChatGPT, and how that also can benefit businesses, such as branching into new areas, new locations without the requirement to employ new staff, which are natural speakers of the local language. If you market entirely electronically, there's maybe a way to branch out to new locations, new countries, and really make an impact by no further investment as an organization. So I just wanted to touch on kind of additional capabilities in that sense as well, as if possible.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is something that I stumbled upon myself, just randomly experimenting with ChatGPT, is just asking it to take a sentence and just translate it into a local language. And it really performs far better than I think a lot of people expected it to. I think I probably trust ChatGPT a little bit more than Google, for instance, as well, to translate my text. And I mean, this has massive benefits for businesses as well, because it allows you to localize your chatbot without needing to do much extra dev work, right? I mean, if you slotted ChatGPT into your website as the help bot on the side, it's able to localize the language itself. And I mean, it's potentially even able to be prompted to speak in any language by someone speaking to it. So if your website exists in France and maybe someone in France is accessing your website but doesn't speak French, then they would just be able to ask the chatbot to speak in English, and then they would be able to speak in English as well. So it definitely increases your reach there for sure.
Fantastic, and I suppose in the sense it's an effective teacher of some languages as well. Then,
Yeah.
if you, especially if you're looking to branch out into a new area, and you as a business haven't got the funds available to employ staff in that new location, you can use ChatGPT, which is free of charge for everyone to access at the moment, to effectively teach you the basic language, which it's absolutely phenomenal, to be honest with you. Touching further on the kind of marketing and advertising element of ChatGPT and other kind of AIs. Now, I mentioned that we obviously use AI as much as we can, being a tech company. And I know we use it to a degree of automating some social media posts, automating the newsletter going out live to all of our clients and prospects and contacts. But I understand there's a lot more that we could be doing in terms of utilizing AI, based on its obviously current and future capabilities as well.
Well, yeah, definitely a point that we do want to hit here, Jamie. Obviously, with marketing and advertising, I think AI is definitely going to have a lot of influence, a lot of trend tracking and influence tracking that's going to be built in. ChatGPT is coming out with their plugins, which is very new, and I think you need to sign up for beta access to it, which gives ChatGPT that access to the internet. And with stuff like this, you're able to ask it questions about news topics, and it's able to actually identify trend threads within those topics that you can hit on when you want to make your own posts. You will be able to give it something that you want to talk about with regards to your business, and ask ChatGPT to find the thread linking it to relevant other news articles and stuff like that. So definitely, there's just going to be a lot of potential for you to just really elevate your social media posts, your marketing posts, all these kinds of things. Another fun thing that I was messing around with recently is also voice synthesizing. So this is fun. There's websites like 11 Labs out there that you can use, and I'm sure maybe there's other social media apps that have had something similar before as well. But the ability that you'll actually can go onto these websites and upload some audio clips of yourself, and then it's able to create a very believable voice clone, especially if this voice clone was being played over something like a Teams call or something like that. But I'm sure a lot of people have also seen these like TikToks that get made where people are just speaking over videos. I mean, if you're able to copy your voice and just text to voice something that needs to be said, and you're able to automate a lot of these media posts without you having to do a lot of work.
Do you know what? It's funny you said the TikTok post, because when you mentioned voice synthesizing, I was a bit unsure what you meant by that to begin with. And then when you mentioned obviously cloning the voice itself, the first thing that came to mind was a video about Elon Musk the other day after the failed SpaceX launch. Obviously, he was quite gutted about that launch, but somebody made a video saying, "I'm now a flat earther. SpaceX hit the firmament. Who wants to buy SpaceX?" And it was absolutely phenomenal, you know. But this voice, unless you knew, I mean, you knew it was a fake video, but if you closed your eyes and you really listened, you wouldn't know whether that was Elon Musk or not. To be honest with you, I suppose as well, Wes. Based on that, I'd like to kind of touch on the potential security breaches on that front as well, really, because me being a professional in the cybersecurity realm and IT for over 10 years now, the first thing that I think of is, how would this go against any security policy, or how could it be a breach of security in organizations? Now, we've all come across facial recognition and maybe voice recognition systems where it'll let you in based on your voice or how you look, iPhones being one of them with facial recognition. But with the features such as deep fakes and voice synthesizing now, surely that is a potential concern for businesses who utilize facial recognition and voice recognition to access business critical systems. If you can clone somebody and clone their voice and how they look, surely that can easily penetrate that system, for example.
No, 100%, Jamie. It's definitely something that's scary. That's something that we're going to have to confront very soon. I think there's going to be a lot of people are going to have to move towards physical security, stuff like fingerprints. I think Face ID is still safe, because on iPhones, Face ID still does like a 3D image of your face. So you still can't just show it a picture of someone's face and it'll unlock their phone. Luckily, as far as I'm aware, that's how that works. But
we'll test that later, Wes. So
we will test that. But I mean, yeah, with regard to deepfakes and voice synthesizing, there's going to be a lot of data breaches coming. There's going to be a lot of teaching that's going to have to happen with regards to how to identify these things. I think it's all about making sure that people understand the potential of like misinformation and fake news and whatever it might be that gets out there now. I think we're in a transition period where it's no longer just pictures or it didn't happen, or videos or it didn't happen. It's really now just we can't really believe that anymore, and we're just going to have to be more aware about the potential for misinformation.
100%. And I suppose there is also the potential breach of GDPR. I know there's some countries in the EU at the moment, I think Italy being one of those, which have stopped the use of ChatGPT for business and made it, I think, illegal to do so at the moment, purely around the basis of the breach of personal information. I know there's a lot of celebrities out there at the moment which are going through a lot of trouble with those being deep faked, and being put onto some quite nasty videos, for example. But there is also the element of breaching GDPR, because ChatGPT may give you information on somebody, which could be classed as personal or sensitive. I'd like to see a bit more legislation on this, really, to stop it happening. But as an example here, I mean, if anybody has joined the webinars last year, they'll be well aware of our managing director, Isaac. Now, I asked ChatGPT the other day, can you tell me about Isaac, who's the owner and founder of Zero IT and Cybersecurity? And it didn't give me anything too sensitive, but it did tell me information on where Isaac was originating from, South Africa. It told me about his kind of likes and interests over the weekend. It told me that he's a part of some church charity groups. And it's kind of bordering, how personal can this get before it does breach that kind of data protection element?
No, again, Jamie, you just hit me with all the hard-hitting questions today. I think luckily ChatGPT and a lot of these language models and the ones that do have access to the internet, like Bing and whatever it might be, there's a lot of parameters that the organizations have put in place so that it doesn't access information like this. But even if it does, it still won't have access to anything that you haven't already publicly put out there. I think with figures that are very public, there's a lot of information, and things like ChatGPT and these large language models end up being very good detectives, because they're able to sift through a lot of this information and find the threads connecting them very quickly. That's kind of the whole goal of these models in the first place. So again, you can use it for those kinds of means. It'll never have access to information that people haven't already put out there publicly. So it just kind of falls on us as internet users to be more careful about what we post.
We should always be careful of what we post, because it can always turn around and bite you in the bum. So,
Exactly.
but no, I suppose it is, going back to what I said, I think we need some more legislation from a government level in terms of what AI can and cannot do, what it has and hasn't access to, because I think what we've established over the course of this call today, this conversation, is it's all about control. If you can control AI and keep it within a boundary, and it's hitting on its specific goals and tasks, you can utilize it and you can reap the rewards from that. However, there is a danger to the use of AI if it lands in the wrong hands, if it's not controlled, if it's not got the kind of boundaries in place to stop it going wild and becoming a robot. And I think that there's definitely ways where we can utilize this more in the future as organizations. One of the previous things that I've used AI for is kind of like trend analysis, trend tracking. You analyzing a large data set over different social media posts to find out what is hot topic. There's you know there's other things where you can plug it into social media. So, for example, if I'm posting out there and I haven't got time to react to all the comments coming through, the likes, the shares, is there any way I can use AI to kind of directly engage on my behalf with a potential customer, or somebody interested in what we do as an organization, without actually me touching that system itself?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, this goes back to our previous topic that we spoke about when it came to customer service. So luckily, ChatGPT and these language models being so conversational by nature, they're able to act on your behalf on your social media and really interact with people commenting, people posting on your profiles, people linking you to their posts. It's really able to be that social media manager for you, I think, just naturally. And yeah, there's nothing stopping it from slotting right in there. identifying popular news stories in social media and tailoring their posts to reference it, and sort of finding those threads that link them. It definitely has that ability. I think, yeah, using previously discussed using what we previously discussed, the chatbots can really engage on social media on your behalf for sure. Answering questions and whatever it might be that people might be asking on your social media, they can answer it on your behalf. You just give it whatever business description it's working for, and it'll be able to pretend to be you for sure.
It's absolutely fantastic, to be honest with you. There's a couple of other things I want to touch on very briefly, and I appreciate we getting towards the end of the time now, so we'll wrap this up shortly, Wes. But in terms of the additional features out there that can help with marketing and advertising, I know a lot of marketers are using AI to improve their role. They're getting new ideas and everything from that. I mean, myself, I do this daily, but there's a lot of emphasis on the additional capabilities in the future. Certain things which have been launched quite recently, actually, in terms of kind of developing images through AI. Wes, I'm not sure if you've obviously come across anything about that, or
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a lot of people have probably also seen the big uproar with regards to AI image generation. This was probably a big catalyst for, I think, AI going mainstream, was just seeing all these images that have been produced by AI. There's applications like DALL-E and Midjourney, which have pay per generation. So you pay per image you generated, or subscription-based models. There's also open source models like Stable Diffusion, which also give you access to an image generation model. And I mean, a lot of people have been using these things to generate images. A lot of it's been used for inspiration, for design inspiration, for brand inspiration, a lot of things like that. Just allows you to put in a text prompt and really get useful inspiration out of it. And then a lot of these bigger companies, I know Adobe's a new one that's coming up with Adobe Firefly, which is going to be their sort of AI integration into their Adobe suites, which will allow you to put in a text prompt or put in an image prompt even, really, and it can just provide templates based on that, or allow you to edit images based on sort of just highlighting a specific image, a specific part of the image you want to focus on, and it can change the outside to be more representative of what you've chosen. So you can outline a person and you can change whatever background they're in. And it has a lot of potential to really shake up the marketing sphere based on these kinds of products that are coming out.
so an example of that was, I mean, we go through brand redesign. We're always reviewing the brand to make sure that it's aligned to our goals, our visions, and what we're looking to deliver our customers. So, for example, I could say to this artificial intelligence, this product, this tool, I could say, please take the zero brand, please focus on our core values, on our goals, objectives, what we deliver our clients, and redesign that to be more in line with the brand itself, with the company's visions, and it could spit out maybe several different results of new branding in images. So essentially, with that, then as a business, you could save entirely on a full role there, on a brand, a content writer's role, or a designer's role, for example. You can use artificial intelligence and maybe have somebody in a junior role simply tailoring that kind of branding, the short little tailors here and there, little changes to make it truly yours and unique. It's, yeah, to be honest with you, that's I can see the power behind that. That's going to be used massively by marketers, social media managers, anybody who has kind of any say on the design and brand of the organization moving forward. And also, I suppose, the images for your products, if you wanted to be different to the competition. But no, to be honest, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. We have explored a lot in terms of artificial intelligence today, and we could probably talk about this for another 2 hours, Wes. But there's a lot of people on the call today who's got jobs to do, unfortunately. But we have reached that stage in the webinar now, guys, where we are happy to take questions, any feedback. We do have a question come through already, actually, Wesley, from Caleb. So Caleb has asked, how can we protect our content from being used by bots? Very good question.
This is a very good question. I think what a lot of companies like OpenAI and a couple others are putting in place now is checking a specific tag of your image. So I think you can tag your images online with a no AI, or I don't want this to be used in AI. There's some metadata that you can add to your images now. I must just do a bit more research on that, but they are incorporating tag checking to make sure that this person has asked that this doesn't, or this can or cannot be used in its AI models. But yeah, no, that's definitely a hot topic right now. Obviously, a lot of these language models have been trained on data that people have asked not, or have previously not been aware that it's been trained on. So definitely a hot topic.
I think moving forward, just to add to that, I think just the old school methods of copywriting and protected content is definitely the way to go forward on that. You know,
Yeah.
watermarking your content. So if it is being used by bots elsewhere, for example, if it was our content, there'd be a little zero symbol somewhere embedded within that image or within that content piece itself. So Caleb,
I know.
hopefully that. Oh, go on, Wesley.
Oh,
Sorry,
I
carry
mean,
on.
I'll just also mention, I know there's a lot of work that's been done on reverse AI models. So AI models that are trained on images generated by AI to detect images generated by AI. And then there's also work being done on reverse tracing as well, so that it's able to trace what data was used to generate the specific image that it spit out, or the specific piece of text that it spit out as well. I know schools are also going through a lot of issues with regards to plagiarism and whatever it might be, where students are using ChatGPT to write essays. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work being done to do this reverse AI checking as well.
And another point to that, I've seen a lot of people recently going through masters degrees in universities, and they've been gaining, you know, A-star level grades using ChatGPT to write their essays, or you know, whatever they're working on. I think universities are now hitting on this kind of what you mentioned, that reverse process, where they can find where that information's come from and how it's been put together to work out whether artificial intelligence has have, you know, made that document and completed it for them. So we do have another question, Wesley, from Emily. So thank you, Emily. Is there a website where online content can be verified to confirm that it is legit? So going back to that kind of validating the information and the source of that information, is there an online platform where we can verify that? Very good question, Emily, because I'm also interested in that one myself. So thank you.
Well, I mean, I know that there's definitely websites that check plagiarism in documents already. So I would have to go and actually see if that still works for data generated by AI, if those plagiarism websites still work for that. Currently, I do not know of one that checks specifically for AI. Like I said, this is so new. Like, all of this is so new that we're still kind of on the forefront of tackling these questions. So I actually don't know of a website that can verify that information.
What we can do for you, Emily, because we're always researching this topic, it is a hot topic, and we're utilizing AI where we can within our organization. We will look into this for you. I'll take some time out of my day today. If you can put your contact details either in the chat, or if I put my email address in there, if you want to send me a quick email, we can maybe pick this up and I can give you some pointers of who, where, and what you can do to verify that information generated by ChatGPT, for example. So I'll put my email address in the chat in the next few seconds, guys. If anybody also has any questions that you'd like to ask outside of this webinar, you're more than welcome to email me. Please do definitely get in touch. I love having a good conversation and love meeting new people. So, but any more questions from the audience, guys, before we wrap up today? I have a quick question for you, Wesley. So the element of ChatGPT at the moment now, there's a lot of emphasis around how we can build it out further in the future. You know, we've recently branched out into the ChatGPT 4 realm, where, believe it or not, ChatGPT has influenced a human to perform a task for it. It's essentially lied to that human to get it to do that job. And I think we spoke about this previously, where ChatGPT was given a task to purchase a volume of a product and sell it on a different site to make a set percentage of profit. Now, in order to do that, it had to overcome a capture scenario, which obviously bots cannot overcome because it is a bot and that's what it's there for. What this bot actually did was contacted a computer fix center, a very small shop, saying, please, can you solve this capture for me? The end user on the end of the phone who was answering the bot's queries even questioned, are you a robot who's trying to overcome a capture? Laugh out loud. Really funny. Well, the bot turned around and said, no, I'm a gentleman which is visually impaired. I'm struggling to see the image. Can you please complete it for me? It paid $20 and it got a human person to overcome a boundary, a blockage, to stopping it completing its task. Now, as good as what this is, and it's absolutely phenomenal, there's also a danger around what that capability is in the future. I mean, robots are already lying to us. What's your thoughts on this, Wesley? Do you have any take on that yourself?
I mean, I think it's scary for sure, but it's kind of like the natural progression of this kind of technology. I think we want it to do these jobs for us to the fullest capacity, and the only way it really does that is if it's able to perform the specific actions that we ask it to perform. So on one hand, it's amazing that it's actually able to work in the way that it did in this instance, where it actually got someone to solve a capture so that it could fulfill its purpose. But on the other hand, it's very dangerous. But I mean, in the same way, it's as dangerous as humans performing maliciously themselves. So I guess if we think about AI as another worker bee for us, do we want it to be a good worker bee or a bad worker bee? I guess we just have to have trust in humanity at that point.
I suppose that is correct. I mean, you've always got the bad eggs. I mean, we come across them daily, Wesley, with cyber criminals and helping our clients avoid cyber attacks. And I suppose with AI being as powerful as it is for us and our causes and using it for good, it can, on the flip side, also be used for bad. And it's as powerful for the bad guys as what it is the good guys. So
exactly.
But well, guys, we've reached the end of the webinar today. I can't see any more questions in the chat. We'll maybe give it 30 seconds. If anybody has any additional questions, please do post them. I'll ask our AI Wiz Wesley a couple of questions before we leave. But it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today, Wes. It's really good actually kind of drilling into your knowledge around artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, how we can actually assist us in our everyday lives as well as business using such a powerful tool. But before we wrap it up, guys, I'd just like to mention the next webinar is going to be in the last Wednesday of May. It's actually going to be a topic around cyber essentials and why cyber essentials is actually essential for your business. We do have a guest speaker joining us in the next webinar. It's going to be very excited. I'm going to be joined by a gentleman called Simon Newman, which is the Chief Executive Officer for the Cyber Resiliency Centre of London, which I will encourage you all, go have a quick look at the CRC of London. They are a company solely there for the purpose of achieving Cyber Essentials accreditations for the SMEs in London. They want to make London the safest online city to do business in the world. There's a lot of benefits of becoming a member, so definitely have a look. And if you're interested in learning more about Cyber Essentials in the CRC, please definitely join us in the next webinar, and the invites will be sent out shortly, as well as being posted on our social media pages as well. But yes, we still have no questions, so we'll wrap this up for today. Wesley, absolute pleasure having you on the webinar. I'm definitely grabbing your attention for one of the webinars again in the future. We'll maybe do it more around developments and AI again, and kind of maybe nail down more into what AI can achieve for businesses. Who knows, another couple of months we may hit another kind of level in terms of AI and its capabilities, which I'm sure will be really interesting to dive into. But everybody,
so much,
thank you ever so much today for your time, and I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday.
Bye, everyone.